There we go. Perfect. Who is familiar with the 6 personal perspectives? When I say that, does anyone know what I'm talking about?
I have a general idea.
Bueller? Okay. Guys, I'm funny today. Funny every day. It's what you were supposed to say. Lauren knows a little bit. There we go. Lauren knows a little bit about the 6 personal perspectives, probably because we jam it down our throats in leadership. Let me share my screen. I'm going to show you. What's happening on my screen? By the time Zoom is obsolete, I will have figured it out. Just so we're all clear. Okay. Let me see if I can zoom this in. 6 personal perspectives. We're going to briefly go through each one to get through all 6, but it can, like, you can spend some time on all of them. But number 1, commit to self-mastery. Number 2, are you following along, Angela? Do you want a copy? Will you make Angela a copy? Sorry, Lauren. I didn't know if you were still on Ignite. Both. Yeah. Commit to the 80-20 principle. Move from E to P. Make being learning-based the foundation of your action plan. Remove your limiting beliefs and be accountable. When we get to 5, remind me that I have a funny story that I was just telling the girls in the office about limiting beliefs here. And this was taken from when I was in leadership in Austin a couple weeks ago. And so you get my notes too. Don't worry about that one at the top, but the 6 personal perspectives: double your income, double your business. Right? That's what we're going to do in the 6 personal perspectives. Like when we get these things down, we're going to make more money because we're going to be a little bit better here. The 4th pillar of culture. So we talk about culture a lot. And the 4th one is the 6 personal perspectives. It will teach you how to think so you can get what you want. In fact, that's what you're in the business of doing as a leadership or a leader in a market center or your team or your own business. You want to help as many people get what they want. Your clients want to buy or sell a house. You want to help. By committing to integrating the 6 personal perspectives into your life, you are setting yourself up to create other great leaders around you. So number 1, commit to self-mastery. Before an individual can pursue mastery of a subject or skill, they must pursue self-mastery. When you commit to self-mastery, you know your goal, your strengths, and your weaknesses. You also know how to work with those strengths and weaknesses to build knowledge, skills, and habits to reach your goal. And that's number 1 for a reason, right? Like we can't really move too far past that. Like we can dabble in each of the other ones, but until we know our strengths and weaknesses and how to work best in them, we're really not going to be great at all of the others. And so we were using in leadership the example of a person in addiction who's seeking sobriety, right? And that was super like relatable for me because you all know prior to me working here, I worked in drug and alcohol treatment at a nonprofit for 10 years. And so families of addicts often want the sobriety more for the addict more than the addict itself themselves do. And it's really, really hard. You cannot love someone into sobriety. You cannot want it more than they can. It's the same with this, right? We cannot be better until we want it for ourselves. If we want to commit to self-mastery, I can want it for all of us all day long, but it means nothing to you guys unless you want it for yourselves. Right? Like Joe can tell me all day he wants me to be better at my job, but unless I want to be better at my job, I'm not gonna be, you know? And I wish here that I had a copy of The Miracle Morning. Who's read The Miracle Morning? Dang it. No one's read it? All right. Buy the book or listen to it on Audible. If you listen to it on Audible, it's literally like maybe an hour. It's a small book. I've listened to it so many times, but it talks about setting up for self-mastery, right? Self-mastering the morning, your morning routine, whatever that looks like for you. And he goes through a whole outline. It savors. So you're like in silence, your action, you're meditating, you're reading, scribing, writing, because he couldn't figure out a way to put W in there. All these things to set up your morning that commits you to self-mastery, right? For my kids are 11, my oldest is 11. For 9 years, I wanted to wake up before my son. That was my goal. I wanted to wake up before my son in the morning to get myself prepped and ready. 9 years, I couldn't bring myself to do it. I read the book and I was like, oh, this makes sense. So now I've finally figured out how to wake up before my kid and get my day started off on the right foot. Self-mastery. Self-mastery, when you decide that you are going to take on mastering yourself, when you accept this challenge, you can effectively lead yourself and direct your success.
I'm sorry, is this?
Mastery starts with a decision to excel at something, a decision to put in the time and effort to achieving excellence and to reject mediocrity. When you have obtained both self-mastery and mastery, you can accomplish your goals you set for yourself. Let's share. Tell me one strength and one weakness. How well do we know ourselves? Also in the room, you can't see because I don't have my camera set up, but Lauren is here and Angela is here. So everyone online, in person, give me one strength and one weakness.
One strength, creative, energy, very creative. Two things that require design and creativity, but weakness is technology. A lot of things that. And I am that.
Bashful. That's a good word. I will challenge you to consider being bashful not quite a weakness. Lean into that. I am an awkward, very introverted, shy person, but y'all half the time probably don't even realize that.
We can't hear her.
I know. Angela said her strength is creative energy. When it comes to creativity, she can make things and roll in that realm. Her weaknesses are technology, technologically challenged, her words, not mine, and bashful. And I challenged her to think of bashful as not quite a weakness. Who else?
I think for me, I have one that's kind of a double-edged sword. I think being disciplined. In some areas, I'm super focused, super disciplined, and in some, I have a lot of room to grow there. What's that? That's a good one.
Is that your strength and your weakness?
Yeah.
Discipline. I feel that.
So my weakness is discipline. I could start something and then I'll let things distract me. So it's kind of hard for me to stay on track.
Mm-hmm. What's your strength? Was that a weakness that you
Yeah, that was the weakness.
Okay, I thought so. What's your strength?
I'm gonna keep it real. I don't know what it is.
I was waiting for someone to get there, and I'm so glad you did, because as humans, we are so much more inclined to talk about our weaknesses. It is so much harder as people to tell others what our strengths are. It's inherent in us, in almost all of us. It's not our natural response. to say really good things about yourself, right? It's not our natural response to look in the mirror every morning and be like, damn, I look good today. You know what I mean? I'm just kidding. I said that this morning, you guys. But it's not. And it took me, honestly, coming to this company and being around people that, think, live, and talk about our culture and our belief system to really get me thinking about like, what are my strengths? Like, it took a real estate company for me to be able to be like, oh, my strength is X, Y, or Z. I'll tell you 10 of them. I'm just kidding. I don't have 10. You know what I mean? Like, so I love that you said you don't know yet, because we're going to find your strengths because you have a lot of them. Before we dive in, I can just off the top of my head, Deanna, is connectivity.
Yeah.
You are a connector.
Yeah.
You connect people to people on a lot of different levels, which is a skill that not everyone has. So like, just before we even dive into other things, like off the top, that's one that sticks out the most to me. Who else has a strength and a weakness?
My strength would be problem solving. Weakness would be impatient. Like basically what impatient means. Like I get bored easily, so it has to be like I have to be more active.
ADHD. Squirrel. Me too.
Ooh,
Who else?
I'd say weakness is time management and somewhat introversion. Strengths, I can be creative. And the tech is not really an issue for me. Yeah.
Again, I'm going to say the same thing that I said to Angela. Figure out a way to think about that introvertedness as a strength. Us introverts got to stick together, y'all. And there are more of us than you think. We're all just pretending out here. What about you, India? I don't know if she can actually hear us.
Yeah, I can hear. Sorry, I had to try to unmute.
You're good. It's really hard.
So my weakness definitely is time management. I struggle with time management. I think my strength is I don't know, it's like you said, it'd be like thinking of your strengths would be I don't know. I don't really know. I know I got a lot of strengths, but I don't know how to put them. I don't know how to like the words for them. If I don't know.
I get it. I kind of love that. Like, I love that we have a good mix of us who are like, yep, like I do pretty well in this realm. And some of us are like, I just don't know yet, like how to say it. I love that. Where did Jordana go? She was here, but she left. So my strength, I think my just number one strength is people. I can connect to people as an introvert, right? Like, it's exhausting. And at the end of the day, so that's why like when we talk about self-mastery, knowing what our strengths and our weaknesses are, my weakness, it naturally, inherently is like, people exhaust me. When I go home, I'm done. Like, please don't communicate with me. Like, the brainwaves stop. But I've learned how to take that weakness and make it my positive, right? And how to work in that realm and how to just embrace the total awkwardness that comes out sometimes. You know what I mean? Like, sometimes I'm a raging lunatic, but it works. I'm just kind of take it for what it is. But it's connecting to people. I do really well in that realm. My weakness is, until I feel safe in a vulnerable situation, I will not voice my opinion if it goes against the grain of everyone else. I am not that strong extrovert that's just gonna say what I think, that doesn't care who I make mad. I won't do it. I won't do it until I know that like it's a safe scenario. And the ADHD in me tells me like, okay, if I say this, I'm gonna anticipate this reaction, this reaction, this reaction, this reaction. And then what I'm gonna say to each of the following reactions, right? So like I overthink what I want to say and how everybody's going to respond to it and how I'm going to respond to that. And then I just say nothing. Right? That is my weakness. I just hold it in until I know it's, you know, going to be okay. But how do I work with that when committing to self-mastery? Because that's a challenge. It's a weakness every single day. I tell people, a lot of people, like when we're going into something, or I'll say, you know, I want to say something, I just don't know how to say it. Or I want to say something, I just don't want anyone to get upset or offended. Right? So like just learning about ourselves so we can just be better, whatever that looks like for each of us. Then we can kind of start to move on, right? No one's perfect here. Like I fail all day long. This one for my time management people. By the way, time management, not a strength of mine. I'm late everywhere. I think it takes me 15 minutes to get anywhere in the city. It's not true. It isn't true. I also think that I can teleport. If this class is done at 12, I will set an appointment for 12 to be somewhere because I think that I'm free and I can just be there. It's a big weakness. I just don't really plan on fixing that. But this one for my time management people, commit to the 80-20 principle. I mean, it truly is, you know, it's also known as the Pareto principle. It's been proven time and time and time and time and time and time again. The 20%, those are your big rocks. Big rocks, right? Has everyone seen the YouTube video where the professor is filling the cup with rocks? Yeah, Lauren, you're kind of looking at me like maybe not.
Give me a second. but-
So, right, there's a video, it's on YouTube. You can Google 80-20 or Pareto principle. And if he'll fill the jar with sand, the tiniest grain, right? Fill it up with sand, completely to the top. And then you can't put anything else in it. That's the 80%. That's the crap. There is enough 80% things to fill 100% of your time. The 80% is not the important items. The 80% for me, today, the 80% was carrying the stools upstairs. That was not my big rock today. I did not need to carry those stools upstairs, but I wasted 45 minutes of my life doing it instead of doing my big rock. Because it's the easy thing. It's fast. You can get it done and then it's done. But you can get stuck in those little things and never make it to the big things. So then in the same video with the rocks, he'll have his jar and he'll put humongous rocks in. He cannot fit any more big rocks. And he'll say, you know, is it full? And his students are like, yep, it's full. Yeah, put some pebbles in. And they filter through and find space in the gaps. That's your 80%. And he's like, is it full? And they say yes. And he's like, puts the sand in. And it finds space in the gaps, right? So, but we couldn't get those big rocks in when we put the tiny grain in first. So we got to do the big things. So I know most of you have seen me walking around with this nonsense notebook. This is a nonsense notebook, you guys. But this is how I do my 20%. Right here. It's the only way I have figured out how to do it. The only way that works for my ADHD brain is I write down in my month, it's like my parking lot, all the crap that I know I've got to get done at some point, like brain dump it. Then I'm like, what is the most important thing that needs to get done today? First thing in the morning, I will write it out. Today, I must do this, 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 and this. Another way to ask that question is, what can I do now such that by doing it will make easier or unnecessary anything else? That's from the one thing. If you haven't read that book, killing it with books today, guys. And it's what's going to take up brain space. If I know that the November calendar needs done by the 15th of October, I know that it recurs every month. Every month, that's my goal to have it done. Do you know when I do it? The 16th. Because I'm really bad at time management and I just mess it all up. But it takes up brain space. At 2 o'clock in the morning, when I can't sleep, I'm thinking about that freaking calendar. So what can we do now that such by doing it will make everything else easier or unnecessary? What are the money-making activities? Y'all, we're running a business. Who here is running a nonprofit in their real estate world? You want to run a nonprofit? No, I'm here to make money. What are the money-making activities? Those are your big rocks. Your lead gen, your prospecting, your appointments, calls and appointments. That's what real estate agents need to be doing. Calls and appointments. You make the calls to get the appointments, whether they're buyers or sellers, I don't care who they are, but you make the calls or you do the lead gen activity to get the appointment. If you're out there spending 3 hours on making graphics that have nothing to do with capturing a lead, you are in the 80%. That's not going to help get you business. Which goes back to, what are your strengths? My technologically challenged people in here, leverage that stuff. Ask for help because you're going to spend too much time on it. My impatient people, ask for help on that because it's tedious and you're gonna mess it all up and you're gonna get mad. Now we know ourselves. We know what our big rocks are. Every day, if you are not lead genning in some type of way for 2 hours every day, you're running a nonprofit next year. Sorry. Then we're gonna move from E to P. It's right there on the screen, but who knows what E means? Who knows what P means? We're gonna move from what to what? It's on the screen. Entrepreneurial to purposeful. We're going to move from entrepreneurial to purposeful. To maximize your productivity and reach your goals, you need to move from entrepreneurial style of operation. Entrepreneurial style of operation means what comes naturally to you. That's just something you're able to do. You don't have to think about it. Maybe it is my creative people. It's your graphic design. You just naturally are able to create things. But when you move from E to P, you move to a purposeful style of operation. You apply focus, strategic options, models, systems, tools, people, and accountability to break you through your natural ceiling of achievement to obtain higher and higher levels of success. Real estate is one of the only careers that really doesn't have a ceiling. You yourself have a ceiling. We all have a ceiling. Real estate kind of has no ceiling. You can make as much money, as much work as you're willing to put into it. As much as you're willing to apply the strategic options, the models, the systems, the tools, the people. And guess what, Keller Williams? We kind of win in tools and systems. So if you're stuck, and when do you know when you're stuck? If you look on the left-hand side, that in entrepreneurial approach, you go to E, you shoot up, right? That's you get your real estate license, you get a couple deals under them, you know, and you're like, yes. And then you're just like, I can't get past. I'm not doing enough to quit my job. I'm not doing enough to support myself full-time on a full commission-based income, right? Or whatever it is. It's like, I can run 2 miles, but I just cannot run further. That's just your natural ability. That's what you're just good at. But then you hit that ceiling and you get emotional. So we see it, right? Like Lauren is going to be like, we see it. It's when agents get emotional, when they get angry, they get frustrated. They're going to blame it on anything. Self here. anything else. It's the market. It's the interest rate. Y'all, the interest rate is 2 points lower than it was 2 years ago. We all had great years 2 years ago. Right? We're gonna blame it on external factors, but it's really just we don't know. Probably we don't know what systems and tools we need to put in to just break through that. So we shoot up to our ceiling and we get discouraged. We come back down. And then we kind of hit the bottom and we're like, all right, took a break, recharged, I'm gonna do it again. We've changed nothing. We shoot back up again and we hit that ceiling. And we're like, oh man, now it's the season. It's winter. I can't run in the cold. My bones hurt. Nobody wants to move when it's snowing. This is Pittsburgh. Hills are icy. Y'all, hills are icy. I know you're from New York, but you don't even know. Got hills. But told you I was funny today. When you apply tools, systems, leverage, what are your weaknesses? It's technology. It's patience. Word to the wise, do not pray for patience because the universe will surely give you opportunities to be patient. Just lessons learned, okay? Time, people. Y'all, we're gonna work on this. What do you gotta do? You know that time management is not your strength. We have time blocking. We literally have classes on how to time block. We have regional tech trainers for tech. We have classes. We have YouTube videos that are 5 minutes. So it's just one little bite-sized thing, right? We have Lauren. We have a director of agent services for that. I'm not, who was not. No, you are creative, but you're not great at technology. I'm not, I don't naturally live in creativity. I'm creative in the middle of the night when it's silent and my brain has had time, but naturally I'm not creative. So like, I need help. We gotta know what our weaknesses are so we can find the tools and systems and the leverage of the people. Or you're dealing with a difficult client and maybe you're not a people person because you're a little bit introverted, you're a little bit bashful. I got you, tag me in. Let's have a conversation together. Right? We work together. You don't have to tell them who I am. It's just like, this is my partner. My job literally is to work for you guys. Like I work for you. You know what I mean? So, but we have the systems. And then once you hit the system, you can break through that ceiling. It's your own natural ceiling that you get to break through. You get to work through that uncomfortability. You get to say, hey guys, I don't really feel comfortable saying this, but I'm going to say it anyways. You get to say, hey, I'm really bad at technology. Lauren's like, I got you. I just made 75 open house flyers for Jeremy. Like, I'll just change the info and make you one. Right? You get to say to each other, hey, I need help. Angela's like, you know what? I can help you with this. Can you help me figure this out in command? Yes. When you figure out the systems, you move forward. She's here to take pictures of our group. Here's all the people online you can take note of too. So, but when you hit that emotion, when you get angry, when you get upset, whatever it is, I challenge you to not push away, to not go into resignation. Speak up, come to me, come to someone and say, I don't know, and we might not know what that ceiling is yet. You're just like, I'm feeling frustrated. And we're gonna talk about it. We're gonna figure it out until we get to what it is. And then I promise you, we, Keller Williams, have the tools and the systems. And I can probably identify it. And if I'm not the person to help you in that, I know someone who is, I promise you that. And remember, I'm a connector. If I call someone and ask for a favor, they're probably going to help you out because it's kind of what we do here. So that's E to P, entrepreneurial to purposeful. When I stopped being entrepreneurial in my business and just like having a good time, because that's all I was doing in sales, I was just having a good time. When I started focusing and like had lead gen on my calendar and being purposeful about being a business, my sales almost tripled in a year. Still wasn't doing a ton because I was just doing what I wanted to do, but like, I mean, it's visible. The evidence works. Which leads right Gary Keller's a genius. If anybody hasn't figured this out yet, like the order in which things are makes so much sense. Because number 4 is being learning based. Well, how do we know what we need to do to be purposeful? Well, we have to be willing to learn. Right? I mean, this man, I swear. When you are learning based, you know what you know and that there is more to know. You apply learning to your action plan to achieve internal enlightenment and external productivity. Again, like listen to the Miracle Morning, you guys. Seriously, like that internal enlightenment, sometimes it just takes hearing it from a different person in a different way to be like, duh. Right? So knowing what we know and knowing what we don't know. There's a saying, everyone says it, I hate it, but I say it all the time, is, especially for new agents, and I'm not saying anything negative about new agents, just you don't know what you don't know. Like you're just like, I don't even know. Where am I supposed to begin? Because I don't know. You don't know the things. Right? But being able to say like, I don't know, sitting in a class, coming to a training, listening to people, you're going to hear things. And you'll be like, I don't know what that means. Now you know what you don't know. And we can keep going. We can keep growing. We can keep learning more. I'm muting him. Productivity outside. Enlightenment inside. Again, take it all the way back to number 1, self-mastery. When we know our strengths, when we know our weaknesses, starts there. We grow as humans. That response, when we grow as humans, we grow in productivity. But it starts here first. Remove your limiting beliefs. We're going to spend some time here because limiting beliefs will literally halt your whole world. Everyone has limiting beliefs at some time, on some level, about some things. When you actively unlimit your thinking, you are able to unlimit your success. I personally find this one to be the most challenging, is the limiting beliefs. When you unlimit your thinking, you unlimit your success. Easier said than done. I mean, for real. Some examples are limiting beliefs. I don't have time for training. I mean, Alexi's at work right now. Our stuff is recorded. I can't be successful in this market. Remember I just said that? The interest rates, the season, the quality of homes. Here, I'm with you on the quality of homes out there right now because I looked at 4 yesterday and I was like, bro, no. What? I can't devote 3 hours a day to lead gen. I'm going to apply it to something I can resonate with. Whoever follows me on social media, I ran the Great Race on Sunday. I didn't train. It's only 6.2 miles. I say only because I do run, so it was fine, but I didn't train. And by I didn't train, I meant like I haphazardly ran a couple miles here and there for the entire summer. Like I didn't run after the half marathon because I hurt my hip and then I just didn't run. And I said, well, I don't have time to train. I got kids that go to school. I can't run while they're sleeping in the house. I got dogs. I got a job I got to get to. But you know what I did have time for? The 9 Netflix series I binged. You know what I mean? Like I had time for that. I said, I'm not gonna run the Great Race. I paid for it, picked up my packet. I said, I'm not gonna run it. I don't have time. I have to go to bingo. This is real. I hosted bingo on Sunday. I don't have time. I ran it and I made it to bingo on time. That was a limiting belief. Our brains, just like we are not naturally good at telling people what our strengths are, our brains are really good at telling us what our weaknesses are. My brain is really good at tricking me into saying, you worked so hard today, you deserve to binge that Netflix series. You can run tomorrow. You can eat that whole pizza. It's fine. You ate really good yesterday. Y'all, I eat whole pizzas. Okay, unlimiting beliefs. I was sharing, we're gonna talk about some of our limiting beliefs here in a minute. I was sharing with the ladies here. I have a fear. I have a limiting belief that a mega agent is anyone who does over 10 million in business. That's what we consider a mega agent. At my peak, I probably did 5 to 6 million. I just never wanted to do more, if I'm being honest, because I didn't want to work that hard. So my brain says, a mega agent doesn't want to hear from you. You have nothing to offer them. You can't help them grow their business. Why is my thumbs up on the screen? I hate that. They're too busy. Oh, look at all these people on. Orlando and Terry, y'all are on too. I mean, they're too busy to talk to you. I literally, it's my job to call these agents, and I'll be standing there with the phone in my hand. I'm like, I'll look them up on social media. Like I'll spend hours finding information out about these people just to try to make one phone call. Here's what I can tell you about that. It doesn't mean this isn't going to happen, but like evidence has shown me that this isn't true. Okay. So all of my limiting beliefs, those are not true. The 2 good examples of megas that I have. One is with Howard Hanna. Called, finally get an appointment. The coolest guy you know, right? The most down to earth, and he's a $30 million agent. Like easier to speak to than an agent who does 3 million. Like the ego's not there. Just a normal human. He did not come riding in on a unicorn. Okay, like that's my brain told me was gonna happen, like something ridiculous. And I was just gonna feel small and less than. Not the case. Okay. The other one runs a $75 million team at Compass. I sent him a video this morning. Y'all know I love my videos. Sent him a video this morning. Said, congratulations on your new listing. Sent him a text message because I want to invite him to business planning clinic. Because my limiting belief said, I can't invite him to coffee with me because what would I talk to him about? But I can invite him to business planning clinic because everybody needs that value, right? So it was a limiting belief. So, but shot him a message. Hey, how's it going? He was like, hey, I got your video. Loved it. Great. I get it. Obviously, you want to show off your tattoo because I was wearing a tank top and you guys could see my sleeve. And so he's like joking around about my tattoos. And he's like, I'm not being weird. I just don't have any. I think it's super cool. And like I was over here cracking up, getting carried away. Angela's like, what is going on over there? Because I'm snorting. I'm laughing so hard. And I was like, he's now my new favorite person. He also did not come riding in on some unicorn saying, I am better than you. Please don't talk to me, peasant. He didn't say that. But that's what I thought was going to happen. That's a limiting belief. And this is real. It's vulnerable. I'm out here telling y'all my brain says crazy things. I love that Alexi laughs so hard at me. Y'all, I do have a big ego. I love it when people laugh at me. I'm here for comic relief. So but when we speak it, when I say out loud that I'm afraid to call this agent or I'm afraid to ask this agent to coffee because I don't have anything to offer them. Well, I know that's not true. Like I genuinely know that. At the very least, I can offer comic relief. Yeah, everybody wants a good laugh. No, for real though. And when I say I am afraid that that I'm going to feel small, that I'm going to feel less than, then that I'm gonna feel dumb. Because I don't know what they're talking about. Because I didn't finish my psychology degree. Like when I say those things out loud, what the hell does that have to do with selling real estate? Furthermore, and as a matter of fact, everything we learn, I can lead gen, I can market, I can set things up, all of which can be applied to any business that can be successful that have nothing to do with selling a house. They're business principles. So like, we got to unlimit our beliefs. So I would love to shut up for a few minutes. And I would love to hear some of your limiting beliefs. So we can speak them into the world so that we can acknowledge how ludicrous they are. Just like I said, I thought these agents were going to come riding in on a unicorn. None of which happened, by the way. It would have been cool if it did. Who has some limiting beliefs that they are willing to share? I take note. Everyone's muted, in case you
I'll
didn't.
give mine. I think my biggest limiting belief is time, basically, because
Time?
I work a different, yes, time. So I work another full-time job, and then I have my family, my kids, my husband, and then I also help take care of my parents. So it just, my biggest limiting belief is not having time. Well, believing that I don't have time, I should say.
Mm-hmm. And just so you guys know, I am taking notes, those of you who can't see me, because maybe we don't have the opportunity now to like dive into all of our limiting beliefs to like bring you the solution and the tools and the leverage, but I want to. So like, you just expect to hear from me later, Terry. Who else has a limiting?
So, and this comes from friends of mine, right? And my one friend, I can hear in my head right now because I have hit rock bottom. I'm not arrogant. I went up and now I'm down. She always says that I'm afraid of success. And I
Raise
mean,
your hand if you are afraid of success. That's
and she'll call me a punk, right? She said, "Punk, you're scared of success," right? And she's been in my life for the last 15 years. And the way we met was through tech, right? I couldn't get it. She told me to shut up. And then as we started developing a true friendship, one day she just called me out of the blue. She said, "I figured you out." I said, "What you mean?" She said, "You're afraid of success."
yeah. Me too. Me freaking too. And you know what? Someone just said to me, my coach, Jeremy, he didn't call me a punk. He called me something similar. But he said, make it a gosh darn problem. Do it so well until it's a problem. And then we'll figure it out. Some other choice words I'm not going to say on this recording. But like, that's real, Deanna. That's real. I appreciate that. Who else?
From here.
You gotta talk loud so they can hear you.
So I don't know the area, I'm learning the area, I don't have my own car right now. I'm a new agent, so I constantly feel, like I don't know enough to be powerful and effective for my clients. And to offer them the excellent service that I would want to receive. I have no reviews, no testimonials because I'm a new agent, so Those are all the names for these.
Mm-hmm. Those are real, and I think every new agent can relate to that. And we're gonna,
Ollie, Orlando looked like he was trying to talk.
I see you, Orlando. What do you got to say?
Yeah, so I would say like one of my limiting beliefs was like learning how to, operate this system, like this technology 43. So it's kind of hard for me to like lock in and understand how to implement what I'm supposed to be doing. You know what I mean? And yeah, I'm not trying to get sued and all this other stuff that's going on. So that's one of my limited beliefs.
Yeah, thank you. I'm not trying to have you get sued or have our broker get sued. That's why I appreciate you not wanting to get sued. Technology.
Yeah, cause I mean they basically put all of these things in our head when we was in school, like how you can get sued that if you do this, if you do that. So you just like, man, I don't even know if I should, even try. You know what I mean? So yeah.
That's real too. Don't listen to what they told you in school. I'm just kidding. This is recording. Just you should listen to what they told you in school. Who else? Who else has a limiting belief? India, Allison, Lauren, Alexi.
I think for me, it's my. Well, sorry, we should be.
Nope, go ahead.
Yeah, I'm just gonna say, for me, I think it's my age, like I just have, this idea in my head that that's all people are thinking about, even though I know that's not the case. But, I don't know, I just feel like people aren't gonna take me seriously or think I'm not knowledgeable or just look at me like I'm one of their kids or something.
Yeah. India.
So I think my limiting belief is like kind of what the previous person said. Just being a newbie and feeling like people don't want to work with you, because you're like inexperienced. You don't really know anything. Like, I don't know. I think that's it for me. It's just being a newbie in the game.
Oh,
Hmm.
I got so many scripts for that one.
I think for me, because I do have a full-time job, I always feel like I could be doing more and I could be doing something better. And because of those things, anyone that I'm working with can work with someone better than me. So yeah, just like all of the things against myself.
Mm-hmm. Is that everyone? Did we get everyone? Alexi, do you have any limiting beliefs? He went off camera.
Can you hear me?
Yeah.
Not really that I can think of from top of my mind. No.
Hell yeah. I love that. We'll find some. I'm just kidding. Let's we're gonna tie that in. Love this. I love how it all comes together, you guys. Thank you for sharing. That's real, that's vulnerable. And I wrote it all down, so you'll be hearing from me later. To find a system tool leverage to like break past our natural ceilings. But let's like take a turn for a second. Who's willing to share their why? Why are you in real estate? What are you hoping real estate can do for your life? Nobody, don't tell me to sell a house. Not a single one of us got into real estate because we just want to sell a house. You know what I'm saying? What are we hoping real estate can do for us? What's your why? Why are you here?
So mine's always been to figure out how to build community wealth. Like people always talk about generational wealth, but to build generational wealth, you have to build community wealth, right? So that was mine's. Figuring out how to take a community and change it, right? Because we always see, like, I can only talk about my communities, right? Like where I live at right now, there's least on my street, 3 abandoned houses, vacant lot next to me, right? How do you change a community through wealth and then mindset, right? Like, oh, I ain't living in Homewood. Well, why don't you want to live in Homewood? So how do I change a mindset and then work with people and work on myself to make that change and to see that change?
So let me ask you this question. When you've done that, when you have changed community wealth, what will that do for you?
It would, what it would do for me, I could just speak for me. It would give me a sense of not pride. I don't want to use that word, but a sense of accomplish, right? Because like I said, I'll sit on my porch and I'll see the young girls going to Westinghouse High School. Their cousins smoking, throwing garbage because that's what they walk past. That's what they see, right? Once we could change that, like when they're walking, they see flowers, they see, no garbage on the ground, it'll change that mindset, which therefore will start changing to me generational.
I love that. Who else? Who else wants to share their why? You're like, his soul is screaming at me right now.
Because, it may be more than what people want to hear, so I have some very personal whys for me in this. And one of that is my brother, he actually experienced homelessness and, it, ultimately led to his demise. But, my family, like a lot of people that I know, have experienced, different situations of displacement just because they don't know what they don't know about ways that they can either keep their home or get into a home or find a place to live, just not having the tools and the knowledge to be able to have a place. And so it's very near and dear to my heart on a different level. So yeah, that's my plan. It's just helping people have the tools and knowledge so that they aren't displaced.
So when I knew your soul was speaking to me because I've got goosebumps all over now. So when you do that, when you educate an entire people, whoever it is that needs what you know to go into home ownership or home safety, home security, what does that do for you?
So I'm a giver by nature anyway. So being able to give somebody something like that, it means everything to me because it's something that we all need, we all need a place to live. We all need a roof over our head, a shelter. And so it's, as Deanna said, it's an accomplishment, but it also feeds my need to give. I just have a natural need to give.
That, my dear, is a strength. Cautiously.
Who was that speaking?
Angela.
Okay.
Yes, India, I see you.
So I think my why is, you know, just being the first in my family, create like a legacy. Um, it's something that's like, fully understand what Deanna means when she talks about, you know, the community, because it is something that we lack, is the financial literacy aspect. Um, you know, when it comes to wealth, assets, generational legacies and things like that. But I think the first thing that, you know, my focus is to focus on myself and building my legacy to be able to give back and do the things that God sent me here to do. I need to position myself first to be able to do that aspect of God's work. So when it comes to real estate, I know that that's one of the means of creating that wealth. So that's just one, like real estate is just one of the buckets of my why. It's a lot of things that I want to do. And I know that real estate will create that foundation for the other things that I have planned for my family and myself.
I love that. Y'all are giving me goosebumps today. Who else? Who else wants to share their why? Thank you everyone so far who has shared and like warmed my whole soul this morning. Who else wants to share their why? I will share with you my why while you become vulnerable to share yours. I have a big why. My more immediate why has shifted a little bit, and I'll summarize. My big why. Not bragging. I am young. I'm 34. My youngest is 8. I've got only 10 more years until she goes on to start to live her life, whatever that looks like. In 10 years, I'm only gonna be 44, you guys. Okay. So my big why is by the time I'm 50, so I've got 15 years. And I used to know what all the numbers were, but things have changed in my life, so I have to rework them. But my goal, what I use real estate to do to drive, not only is it to reach our agents to help them learn to think differently about their strengths, about what their why is, because nobody asked me that until I came to work here. Like, again, real estate has changed my life. So to impact our agents in that same way, to speak, breathe, and live our culture through other people. But in 15 years, I want to have enough passive income that my life will run without me having to be active in it. And I get to go build kitchens in schools in underprivileged areas. That's my why. That's my 15-year, my big why 16. I'll be 35 this month though. So 15, counting down. My immediate why do I show up every day and work? Sometimes hard, sometimes not. Right? My financial needs have changed this year. So my why is to be able to financially provide for me and my kids, which has never, I've always been fortunate that I hadn't had to worry about that. But now I do. And so I show up every day when I'm talking on the phone to somebody who I'm thinking to myself, I'm busy. I'm 9 to 5 in a TL role. I don't have time for this buyer. They can go find an agent somewhere else to give them more time. And then I look around at this tiny little house that I'm living in, that I'm paying someone rent to. I'm like, F that. I know what my why is. It's to buy my own house next year. So I promise you, I might not have 24 hours of the day to give to you, buyer, but the hours that I do have, holy crap, I'm going to show the heck up. Because of my why. That's the reason knowing your why is so important. So when you say, you know, I'm new, I don't know, they could go find an agent who knows more. Sure as hell they could. There's 8,500 of them in the MLS. But are those 8,500 as hungry as you are for your why? I bet for your why, Angela, you will go to the ends of the earth to find whatever answer it is that somebody has. Whereas an agent, and I'm not speaking negatively to top producing agents at all, right? They do good at what they do. They're not as hungry for that one sale because they've got others. So I might be new, but nobody's going to work harder than I am. Because you got to work hard to impact your why. Angela, you have to work hard to make sure that people know there is another option rather than displacement and homelessness. You got to work really hard to change the entire wealth of a community. Deanna, that's a sleepless why. You got to
So
work.
can I say something on that?
Yes, please.
This is how I came to Keller Williams. When I started in 2015 with Keller Williams, my mindset was all I need is someplace to hang my license. I don't want to go to the sales meetings. I was just burnt out from the previous two companies. And I walked into my first sales meeting, which I wasn't going to go. And Felix asked me what was my why. It blew me away because no other company asked, what is your why? Not what their why is, not how many listings you're going to get with them, not how many buyers, like what is your purpose? And that's why I'm still here today, because of the feelings, the questions, you know. And Elisa, all the new ones, just be yourself. You don't have to say, I just started real estate. That's nobody's business. Just be yourself. And in that, you know, it happened with me when I first started. I had somebody I could go in the bathroom and call and say, what's the personal income tax, right? I didn't even know Pittsburgh had personal income tax, right? So you have us. And if we don't have the answer, just say, let me get back to you. Give me 24 hours. But you got a family here.
Hell yeah. That's why I drive 45 minutes to be in this office. It's these people. It's y'all. Y'all, I passed 2 other Keller Williams offices that are a lot closer to me. I like you guys. It's what we have here, right? Shoot a quick message. Let's go back to self-mastery. We don't know everything. We're not Google. We're really not expected to know everything. You know what I mean? People are asking a question because they don't know. So you don't gotta feel dumb because you don't know it. Yeah, that's a really great question. I don't know it right this second, but I would love to get you that answer. That's respectable. You know what I mean? And to Deanna's point, you know who's new in this business? The person who passed their license today. They're new. Y'all aren't new. You come to all of these sales meetings every freaking Tuesday, which is more than half of the top producing agents do. Not new. Does anyone else want to share their why?
I just want to say those were some very good points. And for those that are new agents, what I've found was the best way to sell yourself is that you're marketing as the company. So don't focus too much on yourself, but you're representing the company. So you have the backing of Keller Williams.
Yeah.
That's what I found was the one of the strongest points for you to sell yourself.
100%. You work for the largest real estate company worldwide. Worldwide. We're in all 50 states and 57 different countries. We are the largest by agent count and unit count. Last year, 1 in 5 transactions ran through a Keller Williams agent. We have more millionaires in our company than any other company. We got to #1 faster than any other company, and we've held it longer than any other company. We are the leaders of education and technology. These aren't things that I'm making up. These are actual real things.
So Ali, on that note, I may have to jump off.
Yep.
I went to Red Day for Ramp
Mhm.
and I was kind of embarrassed because there was all these agents from Berkshire who was getting recognition of how many millions they sold with team. And our name was only mentioned once, and I couldn't figure that out. But then I asked someone, there's something that comes to the agency where, you fill out who's the 12, who made 12 million, who made this. And I think we need to put that out there because
Yep.
I had to go, I would look in the multi-list like the one girl, wait a minute, I don't think I made that, right? And I checked last year's figures, right? And I was like, well, why isn't anybody in my office being mentioned? But we have to put that out there because other folks don't realize
Mhm.
our gifts and our talents.
Yeah.
They don't see us there, right? They just see, oh, that's Keller Williams. But hopefully next year we are at Red Day. We don't have to pay the $65. Just have our name mentioned in the
Mhm.
program booklet that we are number one.
Yeah. Oh yeah, there's a couple things too, and a couple other agents that brought to me like, how come we aren't mentioned in this magazine or in this thing or this whatever? And I can't speak to anything that's happened before. I can speak to the year that I've been in this role. I've got my blinders on and I'm like, okay, just worrying about our agents. But like, that's a good point. Or we talk about telling our story. That's a way we tell our story, is to get out there who we are. So you're 100% right, Deanna, and we need to tell that story better because Keller Williams is the largest. We aren't the largest in Pittsburgh. We just aren't. But we are the largest. So there's a lot of opportunity there. And for the new agents, number one, unless someone asks you how long you've had your license, which you might get someone, don't lie. But you don't gotta say, well, if they don't ask, you don't gotta say it. But not only do you have a coach, if you are in productivity coaching, Blake McNeely, also a 21-year-old guy, so age here, who just started a team about a year or less ago, was ranked multiple times the number 3 team in our greater PA region, which is all of PA, Delaware, and New Jersey. Okay, so you get him behind you. Tips, tricks, best practices, how to get into business, what to do once you're in business. He's your guy. You've got questions about paperwork. I'm your person. I love Blake. He can watch us later. I got you though. Blake knows that. So you get to say, if someone has a question about your newness or about your inexperience, I hear you. Number one, I'm hungry. I'm not busy with 20 other clients. So you get all of my time and my attention. Number 3, you not only get me, but you get this company, tell who we are. You also get the number 3 ranked agent team in our greater PA region at the price of 1. You also get, so you are getting multiple experts and high level people for the price of me. Right? Just a different way to spin that. And last but not least, so I love that we talked about our why, because it works out when number 6 is accountable. Be accountable. When life happens and reality shows up, which it will all day long, you will have every reason in the world to say, I've earned this Netflix series. I earned that pizza. I don't need to lead gen. I worked hard. I'm tired. Life beat the crap out of me this week. You know what happened? Life beat the crap out of me last week. Beat the crap out of me last week. Life showed up. Reality showed up. We have 2 options. You can claim to be a victim. Poor me. This happened. And just leave things go. Or you can show the hell up. Make a decision that tough people last, not tough times. And maybe that means for this next week, until we get our mindset right, we have to alter our time blocks. We have to do something a little bit different to help with our mindset. My mindset was jacked last week. I was miserable. I was not nice. So I got to show up a little bit differently this week. That means I have to wake up earlier than I normally do because I need more time. I need that. And so it's just different. And it can change and it can alter, and that is okay. Because we are people, we're fluid, and we move. And so I was taking down what our limiting beliefs are and what our why is. And for everyone who shared all of that, I thank you, because now it's my job as the team leader and as someone who genuinely cares about you and your business and your why. I don't care how many houses you sell, but if we figure out how many you need to sell to help get to your why, well, I sure as heck care about that. Accountability is an act of love, not aggression. So when I see, or counter that, when I don't see you here, when I don't see you coming to classes, to our lead gen calls, to something that I know is going to help your business, out of an act of love, I get to say, I'm going to say, has your why changed? If it hasn't changed, what are we doing to get you there? Emotion, logic makes people think. Logically, I know that I got to sell, depending on the price range, 7 to 12 houses a year. Me personally, if I sell 7 to 12 houses a year, that's all I need. I'm good. I feel really good there. I know that. But when life shows up and reality hits, I no longer care because I am emotional. Logic makes us think, emotion makes us act. So when I'm in that, forget this. I've earned this pizza Netflix binge series. Y'all also have permission to say, has your why changed? Do you not plan on buying your own home next year? And I'm gonna get mad and I'm probably gonna cry because I cry a lot. I'm a crier. Because you're right. My why hasn't changed. But I allowed myself to sit in that moment and be the victim instead of showing up and being like, no, that's not how this story goes. Right? Seek reality. Be aware. With awareness comes great pain, because once you know, you can't unknow. And once you know, you got to take action. It's like Spider-Man. With great awareness comes great responsibility. You acknowledge reality. This is the way it is. This is what's happening. Interest rates are high. Quality of houses kind of suck. Right? Buyers, yeah, some of them are a little bit less qualified than they may have been because of interest rates. Jobs are changing. Right? We're still in this, we're not all going back to work thing. People are now working from home and they're getting pay cuts now, or they're being paid differently. They're not an employee, they're a 1099 now. This is the reality. We are also now in winter. Not just the season, like the calendar season, but like in the life season, we're moving through winter. Shit is harder. What are you gonna do? You gotta show up differently than you did in the summer. You have to show up differently than you did in the summer. You're not gonna roll in here in your swimsuit. You gotta bundle the heck up. You gotta show up. Find the solution. Find the solution. I will help you find the solution, or I will help find you the person who will find you the solution. And then you got to get on with it. Right? That's the last one. Then you got to get on with it. It is what it is. Let's find the solution and move. And move. Any thoughts, concerns, ahas, take away one thing you heard that you liked? Well, shit. Nothing. Dang it. Failed you.
I just want to say that that was fair. That accountability piece is really, life changing. You know what I mean? Like remembering your why is important, and you got to show up for you and those that's dependent on you. I'm sorry, but yeah, I love what you said, Ali. It was powerful. Thank you.
Thank you for being here. Like, yeah, gotta show up for ourselves. Think about how we don't show up for ourselves. Think about it. Think about everything you do for other people. Your family, your kids, your mom, your dad, your siblings. Some of our siblings, man, they can't get it together. We gotta show up for them. We gotta make time when we're tired. Or in the middle of the night you're tired and your kid's like, my belly hurts. I don't care. We gotta get up. And you gotta go to work. And you gotta show up at work. And you gotta do stuff because like they're paying you. And then it's 2024. Very rarely does work end when we leave because we're always connected. And we see that email come through. And well, I just feel like I have to answer. And then your friend needs you. And then your cousin's dog is going to the emergency vet. Everybody needs your emotional bank. Everyone needs your emotional bank. And you know that you set aside an hour for yourself to read, to work out, to meditate, to go for a walk, to take a bath. I don't care what it is, but you set that hour aside for yourself. But then someone has a crisis. And what do we do first? What do we take off our calendar first? The things for ourselves. Imagine if you showed up for your people the way you show up for you. They'd be pissed. People would be pissed. They'd be like, you are never here. You canceled plans every time we make them. You don't answer your phone. You weren't there when I needed you. We gotta show up for ourselves. Number one, self-mastery. I know that one kind of hurts a little bit. That sucks. Angela and my souls are speaking to each other today. We're like making crazy eye contact. Like her soul is screaming at me today. Who else has an aha? Something that they could take away? They heard, they liked.
These were a lot of very good points. Thank you for having this meeting. I'm just surprised there's not even more people because they're missing a lot of gems in here. This was really good. Thank you.
Thank you.
I agree. This was really good. It was really helpful.
Yes,
The little
I
bit that I
agree
did
too.
catch, but it was really helpful.
Deanna.
I agree with the foot, especially, because I'm like, life has shown up for me in many different facets. So I needed this. I'm actually like teary-eyed because I needed this.
Yeah. Tell you what, I needed this because life has shown up. And I was like, I gotta show up on Tuesday and teach the 6 personal perspectives. But it helps me more, probably than it helped you guys. So if I can ask one thing, if I've earned the right, when we say we can't believe there aren't more people here, because this was helpful, there were gems, there were takeaways, I needed this. Can you share that with someone in the office that wasn't here? I mean, you don't gotta say like Allie was great. I mean, if you want to, like. But if you really felt like this information was helpful, y'all, we're gonna be here next Tuesday. And next Tuesday, we're gonna be talking about the path of money. Passive and active, and how we use it. And it's gonna be important because it's gonna fund our why. Like our whys need funded. And it's not 100% confirmed yet, but very likely the facilitator of our group next week, talking about the path of money, is the director of our entire region. Michelle McBride. She's kind of an important person. She's kind of runs all of our shenanigans.
She's the bomb.
She's the bomb.
She's the bomb. I think when we went to Jersey,
Mm-hmm.
oh my God, she blew me away.
She's incredible. She has an incredible story talking about her journey with money. And like, you know, saving $50 a week is all she could afford to get to like what she has now. I mean, she's a real human who started out in like Lauren's position and now she runs our region. So phone a friend, tell them, please, that the content is worth coming to. It will help. And like next week, our regional director is here. So like, I'm not gonna, please don't embarrass me. Not here in person. She's gonna be online. She's not coming from Wilmington, Delaware, but it's gonna be incredible. Like she is the teacher of all things finances. So that is next Tuesday at 11. Very cool.
Okay.
All right. I appreciate all of you guys.
Thank you. Everybody have a good day.
Thanks, everybody. Have a good one.
Thank
Yeah.
you.
Thank you.